Now I want to make my disclaimer right off the bat. I do not have a new Corvette. Quite often when I'm working on my model here, or maybe I'm down in my workshop, I might be thinking about something entirely different. And one of the things that I've been thinking about recently is something I read on the internet. And it was to do with, well, it went like this. There's a guy standing beside his new Corvette. And along comes a do-gooder and makes the comment, I wonder how many mows, well, here we'll read it. Well, this is more or less what I read. Now I have taken names out here. And I also removed the conclusion at the end, which sort of pushed one political party more than another. And I changed the title. Anyway, a guy looked at my new Corvette the other day and said, I wonder how many people could have been fed for the money that sports car cost. I replied, I'm not sure. It fed a lot of families who built it. It fed the people who make the tires. It fed the people who make the components that went into it. It fed the people in the copper mines who mined the copper for the wires. It fed the people who made the trucks that hauled the copper ore. It fed the trucking people who hauled it from the plant to the dealer. It fed the people working at the dealership and their families. But I have to admit, I guess I really don't know how many people it fed. Well, at first I thought, yeah, that's right. Then I realized, there's something terrible wrong with this. Anyway, it got me curious. How much does a Corvette cost? So I went online this morning. And, a new tricked-out Corvette costs over $140,000 here in Winnipeg. No, and that's not the best one. The most expensive one, I think, is about 10 grand more. Yeah, so what's going on here anyway? I'm not upset or anything. I'm just thinking out loud, sort of. And I sort of want to point out what I think is wrong with this. And it's just my opinion. I'm liberal enough to say that I could be wrong. But this is just my opinion. Oh, and speaking of opinions, I'm going to leave the comments open on this one. And as long as the comment is clean and not violent, I'll leave it up. But don't expect me to reply. Now, I don't want to be giving the wrong impression here. So I want to be careful what I say. What kind of car do I drive? Well, I've got a Subaru, and I bought it brand new almost 2 years ago. And it's just a basic car. And to give you an idea of how much I paid for it, well, I could have bought about 5 of my Subarus for what I have to pay for a tricked-out Corvette. And would I like to have a Corvette? Well, I don't know. A few years ago I might have. It might have been kind of fun if it was, if I could have afforded it. And but I can't afford it, and that's my fault. Maybe I'll go into that in part 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know how many parts this is going to go, because, like I say, I want to make sure that I don't say something I'm going to regret later. And sometimes in my rants I do. I say too much. However, I think I know what I want to say about what is wrong with what I just read there. But I want to give it some more thought. So we'll have to wait for part 2 at least. And in the meantime, I gotta repaint my deck here. I'm making a model ship, by the way. And I accidentally, well, it was my own fault, I didn't do the research that I should have. I painted the part of the bow the wrong color. So I gotta paint it back and start over again. I gotta put another coat on here this morning. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow about this one.